And for more, I'm joined by House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. Congressman, welcome and thanks very much for joining us. The American Jobs Plan aims to invest $100 billion in workforce development programs targeted at underserved groups as a way to address racial and gender inequity. Do you think the president is doing enough to address racial inequity in this country?
Well, we'll never do enough. We are in pursuit of a more perfect union. We'll never be perfect. We'll always be in pursuit. I think that the president is making an honest and yeoman's effort with that. No matter what you do, something is going to be left undone, or somebody will interpret it as being undone or the wrong thing to do. But I'm giving this president high marks in doing what he said he was going to do. He told us he would focus lazily on COVID-19. He's done that. A lot of people said he couldn't get 100 million vaccines in the first 100 days. He did that in 60 some odd days, and then got a second 100 million by 92 days. And here we are. I believe that few people would have given him the ability to really get this Rescue Act done. Under reconciliation, 1.9 trillion, doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He's going to lay out his jobs plan. He's going to lay out his family's plan. Our job here in the Congress is to help him get it accomplished. And then we got to go out and instruct the American people as to what we had done.
As you know, Congressman, in the wake of Derek Chauvin's conviction, there have been renewed calls for police reform. What would you like to see the president do and say on that topic?
I'm not going to get out in front of his speech tonight, but I think the president's been doing and saying a whole lot since before the verdict. And after the verdict, he's made it very clear where his head and his heart are as it relates to this. So I would like for the president to stay on course tonight, and I think he will. I have said to a lot of people that I consider that verdict as a so-called Selma moment. But Selma was a moment, the verdict was a moment. Selma, because of the president of the United States at the time, Lyndon Baines Johnson, and the action of the Congress, on August 6, 6 months after the Bloody Sunday, we turned Selma into a movement that is still going on today. I'm hopeful that the verdict, that moment, will be turned into a movement. And I think what he says tonight could help us get on that way.
Let me ask you about the American Families Plan, which does include free community college. What are your thoughts on that, on free college, Congressman? Do you think that the plan goes far enough to address some of the systemic inequities when it comes to education access?
Well, once again, it is a good first step. We'll have to see whether or not it goes far enough. And I'm all interested in how it will be implemented. If you're talking about 2 years community college, that completes the task for a lot of people. That's what about all the time you need to become an electrician or become a plumber of that sort, or even become a computer person. I want to make sure that this plan, the 2-year college, can be a little broader than that. Not just community colleges, but maybe other public colleges that may be in the community. Can we get 2 years, maybe the first 2 years education at some other public schools? So I'm going to be working to come up with a definition that will allow us to have community college for 2 years, and maybe the first 2 years is other colleges as well.
So we have a CBS News reporter at the U.S. southern border, a congressman who has been getting some remarkable access and a look at what it is like for asylum seekers who are trying to enter the United States. Given the continuing crisis that we are seeing at the southern border, do you think there is realistically any chance of cooperation with Republicans in tackling that crisis at the border and the larger, broader question of immigration in the United States?
Yes, we're going to tackle it. The question is whether or not how successful we're going to be. This will not be our first time tackling this issue. I remember several years ago, Javier Becerra and I worked on this issue, and we thought we got into a very good place. And we were waiting on the Senate to send the bill over to us. And at the last minute, John McCain and others withdrew their support for it. So I have no idea what the Senate will do. I do know this, that the president cannot do much about this issue without bipartisan support. And I know that there's bipartisan support for it out among the public. But we are working now trying to get bipartisan support here in the Congress. That's going to be the hard job.
Finally, Congressman, South Carolina Republican Senator, as you know, Tim Scott is delivering the Republican response to President Biden's address tonight. He, as you know, has been central to negotiations in Congress around policing legislation. What do you expect to come from his address?
I think that that is a good thing for the state, a good thing for him personally. I do believe that he's been working very close with Karen Bass, and she's been keeping me abreast of their progress. She's impressed that they are making progress. I've heard him say that they are making progress. I hope that they can come to common ground in such a way that the House and the Senate will join them and then pass the legislation. But as for his speech, I have to wait to see what he had to say. But I think it is a good thing for him, and it's a good thing for our state.
Congressman Jim Clyburn, for us, Congressman, always good to see you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.